So good afternoon. I'd like to welcome all our veterans groups, our Purple Heart recipients who are here today, along with our town council members. We have to our right Councilwoman Dina Giorgio, Councilman Peter Zuckerman, our receiver of taxes Charlie Berman, our Congressman Steve Israel, our town clerk Wayne Wink, our Councilwoman Lee Seeman, and our Councilwoman Anna Kaplan. And we thank all of you for being here today. So although Veterans Day is not officially marked until November 11th, I'd like to think of this today as Veterans Day in the town of North Hempstead. We're very proud to be making two very significant announcements related to our treasured veterans here in our own community. Thanks to a local chapter of the Military Order of the Purple Heart, we became aware that we could proclaim our town a Purple Heart town in order to recognize those who were injured or killed in combat while serving their country. So we immediately jumped at the opportunity, and I'd like to thank personally, and we're going to be hearing from them in a few moments, Sergeant at Arms Erle Mutz. Earl, there you go. Commander Robert Chiappone, Past State Commander Connie Steers, and Junior Vice Commander Tony Sparaco. And we thank them for guiding us in this process. I'm proud to honor our Purple Heart veterans in any way possible, and I hope that this signage and the others that will be installed around our town will serve as a reminder to all who pass by of the sacrifices made by our servicemen and women. You know, on a personal note, my parents were Holocaust survivors, and I know the impact it had on all of the survivors in Europe when they saw the brave men and women of the United States Army coming to liberate the camps, coming to be there and give them hope and give them a reason for feeling that their liberty, their freedom, their quality of life, their sense of being was going to be restored. And that's what the American flag meant to them, and that's what the brave men and women who were there meant to them. And so we thank you all for this great service that you provide to them. The second announcement for our special Veterans Day today is the formation of a Veterans Advisory Committee that will serve as another voice for our veterans as we work together to better serve them. And I have to say, this is something that has been on our minds for a very long time, and we were so encouraged by our Congressman Steve Israel in order to move forward with the formation of this committee. So I thank you, Congressman, for all your help with that. Our veterans' voices need to be heard, and it is my hope that an advisory committee dedicated to your issues will assure that we address your needs and the services that you so rightly deserve. We're currently in the process of recruiting volunteer members, and we hope to have the first committee's meeting scheduled for sometime early this summer. And I look forward to working with this committee, as I know our council people and members of the town board do as well, in assuring that no veteran in the town of North Hempstead goes without the services that he or she deserves. So at this point, and we're going to do the uncovering of the sign in a little while, but so I officially proclaim the town of North Hempstead, a Purple Heart town, and I thank each and every veteran for their service and their sacrifice. We salute you. So there are some people who would like to, as you can imagine, like to greet you and speak to you of their great commitment to all of you. And it's my honor to introduce our Congressman, a friend and strong advocate, as you know, of Long Island veterans and really veterans throughout our country, Congressman Steve Israel.
Thank you very much. Thank you all very much. Let's hear for Supervisor Bosworth for her leadership, and Wayne Wink, and Kaplan, and Seeman, and is Viviana here?
No, but she supports
yet, but
us.
she's on her way. Peter Zuckerman, and I know Councilman Ferrara supports this as well, and Councilwoman Giorgio. Bob Chiappone, it's wonderful to be with him, and Erle Mutz, so thank you for the partnership that we have. And there's somebody special here today that I'm going to take the privilege of a congressman to introduce. Someone who served us in Afghanistan and is a recipient of the Purple Heart. Amanda Martina is here. Let's hear from. Stand up, Amanda. Stand up. So proud of this Long Islander for her service to the country. God bless you. I'm going to be very brief. I want to congratulate the town of North Hempstead for becoming a Purple Heart town. I've always said that every American, I don't care who they are, where they are, what they believe, has three fundamental obligations. Number one, remember the fallen. Number two, fight for those who fought. And number three, support our veterans. Those are the three fundamental obligations that every American has. And sometimes we fall short. So I want to leave you with this one story that of a Purple Heart recipient that I feel obligated to tell, because it reminds us of our obligation, but also should give us great hope for the future. Some of you have heard me tell the story of Joe Sukup. Joe Sukup received the Purple Heart as a combat veteran in Vietnam. Fought in Vietnam, came back home, was spat on. People turned their backs on him. Didn't get any respect, didn't get any admiration, didn't get any support. He was basically discarded by his fellow Americans. On Valentine's Day of 2007, Joe Sukup sat in the truck that he owned, having lost everything else in his life, his house, his family, everything, in the parking lot of the Mayfair Shopping Plaza in Comac, with his Purple Heart on the front seat, and decided that that was the night he was going to end his life. Now, how did Joe Sukup go from receiving the Purple Heart from his country to deciding on Valentine's Day that there was nothing left to live for? Let me tell you what happened. It'll take me a minute and a half. When Joe came home from Vietnam, not only did he not have any respect or admiration or support, but he couldn't sleep at night. Every time he fell asleep, he would have a nightmare that returned him to the day he fought that battle for which he received the Purple Heart. And because he couldn't sleep, he lost his job. He wasn't productive during the day. And when he lost his job, he couldn't pay his bills. And when he couldn't pay his bills, his wife left him, and she took the kids. And when his family left him, he lost his house. And when he lost his house, he turned to drinking. And when the drinking couldn't help him anymore, he turned to drugs. And all he had left on that Valentine's Day was his truck and his Purple Heart on the front seat. Now here's what happened to Joe. He decided that that night there was nothing left to live for, and he was going to end his life, but something told him, and Joe's given me permission to tell this story, he's not sure whether it was the voice of God or his own fear of dying. Something said to him, Joe, you need help. Go to the Northport VA hospital. They'll help you. And so he drove his truck to the Northport VA hospital, and he walked in and he said to somebody on duty, I tried to harm myself tonight, and they admitted him and they did tests, and they said to Joe, now this is in 2007, remember, decades after Vietnam. They said to Joe, Joe, you have PTSD. And Joe said, what's that? What's that? I didn't know I had it. They said, Joe, what's happened in your life is not your fault. You were having flashbacks. You needed help. Not only did he not get help, he got the scorn of the American people. And that's how Joe ended up in his truck. Joe called my office one day through a friend because he didn't get the benefit. And it's not a benefit. It's not a benefit. It's an entitlement. When you suffer for your battles, you don't get a benefit. You get what we owe you. But the disability rating that they gave Joe Sukup was low for his PTSD, dating back 30 years. He called my office and he said, Congressman, I was told that if you're a veteran and you have a problem, you call Congressman Israel's office, you're going to help. You're going to put everything aside and help. And after a few months, I called Joe Sukup. Remember, he didn't even have a cell phone. He didn't have a house, an apartment. All he had was his truck and his Purple Heart. And one day I called Joe Sukup. I said, Joe, I have some good news for you. I have a check, a retroactive payment for you from the VA for $57,834. And I said to Joe, half-heartedly, I said, Joe, $57,834, I think you can buy me a cup of coffee tonight with some of that money. What do you say? And you know what Joe Sukup said? He said, Congressman, no coffee for you. Here's what I'm going to do with the money. I'm going to get myself an apartment. I'm going to get the help I need. And I'm going to contribute some of that money to PTSD clinics for my fellow veterans. Because I don't want them to go through what I went through. And that's what he did. He contributed the money and went into communities and helped them. And not only that, here's my final point. Remember, Joe was homeless. He was homeless. Purple Heart, homeless. He walked into the woods on Long Island and found other veterans who were homeless and found housing for them. 5,000 veterans on Long Island a night when Joe Sukup went into the woods were in the woods. 5,000 every night. Tonight, on this night, tonight, 57,849 veterans of the United States military will be homeless. Some of them receive Purple Hearts. 57,849. We can do better than that. We must do better than that. So when I say to some of my colleagues in Washington, we have an obligation to make sure that there's no such thing as a homeless veteran. When I tell them that 1 out of every 4 homeless people in America wore the uniform of the United States military, and they say to me, well, we wish we could do more, but we can't afford it. You know what I say? Yes, we can. Yes, we must. Instead of subsidizing oil companies $40 billion every 10 years, subsidize people like Joe Sukup so they don't have to be homeless with a Purple Heart medal. That's where our priority should be. So thank you, Town of North Hempstead, for being a Purple Heart town. But let's commit ourselves to make sure that in this country blessed with riches and blessed with freedom, we never have a man sitting in a truck with a Purple Heart medal who doesn't have a place to sleep. I've been to Iraq and Afghanistan 9 times. Every time I go, I come back with the same sense. Thank God we live in a country that gives us the right to agree with the decision to go to war. You have the right to disagree with the decision to go to war. You have the right to remain silent. But no American has any right to forget that Joe Sukups, Amanda, the men and women who have served this nation with distinction and honor, who are deployed today, who were deployed in prior years, and who will go to dangerous places again in the future. God bless them. God bless our veterans. God bless the United States of America. Thank you all very much.
Congressman Israel, thank you. And that's one story you told, one veteran that you helped. And we know that that can be multiplied by so many that you've helped in our area, and again, so many that you've helped throughout our entire country. And what an inspiration you are, and what an inspiration the veterans sitting in front of us here today are. So again, thank you so much. So I'd like to bring up some great leaders from the Military Order of the Purple Heart organization. And I mentioned them before, but I'm going to mention them again and hope that they will come up here and share some words with us. Erle Mutz, our Commander Robert Chiappone, and Sergeant at Arms Erle Mutz, Past State Commander Connie Steers, and Junior Vice Commander Tony Sparaco. If you could join us at the podium, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Robert Chiappone. I'm the commander of the Military Order Purple Heart, Chapter 417. This is a great day for the town of North Hempstead, and it's a great day for our chapter. And most of all, it's a great day for all the wounded warriors. Being a combat wounded warrior veteran, being here with all my brothers and sisters, it means a lot to all of us. Meaning that the town of North Hempstead did not forget us. This proclamation means a lot to us. It will mean a lot to more when we drive in the town of North Hempstead and see signage saying, this is a Purple Heart town. We have to go forward with this. The officers and myself worked very hard for these proclamations. We have the town of Oyster Bay, the town of Hempstead, the city of Glen Cove, the village of Lindenhurst, Suffolk County, the town of Babylon. And next Wednesday we will have Nassau County. But most of all, I would like to thank my officers, please, once again, Conrad Steers, past state commander, senior vice commander, he's not here, Bill Torres, junior vice commander, Tony Sparaco, and most of all, I'd like to thank our new patriot combat veteran, Amanda Martinez. She's our new mascot. Sergeant of Arms, Erle Mutz, who worked very hard to put this together, and thank the members. Thank you, Supervisor. Thank you very much, Councilman Anthony Ferrara and staff and the Board of Directors. Thank you very much.
I'm Connie Steers, past state commander, and I was commander of 417 for about 12 years. And Amanda, you're a patriot. You'll never be a mascot for me. You're going to be a patriot. I'm overwhelmed. I've been at this so long, so many letters, and finally, see, I'm with Steve Israel all week. I think I'm on his staff. You gotta pay me. It cost me a medal. But I'm overwhelmed, the whole town council, supervisor. I'm glad we finally met you. We started last year, but we waited for you. And there's three things I cherish. First of all, anybody who has a Purple Heart, will a patriot please stand up and be recognized? These are patriot heroes, and they're all the heroes to me. I cherish three things in my life. My wife of 43 years, my combat infantry badge, and my Purple Heart. Those are the three things I cherish the most. So on this day, I'm glad it ain't raining. Thank you, Supervisor.
I didn't do so well with the snow, but...
So, Congressman Israel, I hope I see you sometime. Everywhere I go. You paying? Did you leave home without it? Again, thank you to the town of North Hempstead. We appreciate it very much. And I'm from the town of Oyster Bay, but all towns are terrific for me. And I thank you again. And you have a great day, and God bless America.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Erle Mutz from West Babylon. And I just wanted to thank everybody behind the scenes that I don't know, along with all the people that I did speak with and emailed, hundreds of emails and pictures to get this to happen today. I'm a wounded warrior and a Vietnam veteran. I was wounded over in Vietnam back in 1967. And I lost my best friend over there in 1968. And I memorialized him on a website called Together We Serve. Because one thing we all have in common in what branch of the service we're in, we're all brothers. We all fought for the same country for the same reason. And that's why everybody back here, has the right to do anything they want within reason, within the laws. And we all swear to that when we enlist in the first place, whether we enlisted or not. And my only goal for joining the Military Order of Purple Heart is just to make sure that the veterans that put their lives at risk and the ones that come back, you know, and get a Purple Heart out of it and they can walk around are recognized and acknowledged for it. Because there's too many people today that just easily walk around and walk past somebody that needs help. I'm not one of those. And I just thank everybody in the town of Manhasset, North Hempstead, and the town of the whole Long Island. I want the whole Long Island to be a Long Island Purple Heart town. And thank you again for everything. I appreciate everything.
Hi, my name is Tony Sparaco, and I'm the Junior Vice Commander of Chapter 417. I'd just like to thank the town of North Hempstead today for recognizing us and for making the town of North Hempstead Purple Heart town. It means a lot to us, it really does. I'd also like to thank all the elected officials who made that possible, and Congressman Israel, who is a staunch supporter of veterans. That's all I'd like to say right now. Thank you.
So we've heard from veterans, and now I'd like us to hear also from the elected officials without whom none of this could really have been taking place. So I'd like to ask first our our town clerk, Wayne Wink. Come on.
Thank you very much, Supervisor. You know, we're just on the heels of celebrating Memorial Day, and Memorial Day always serves as a wonderful opportunity for all of us to remember the sacrifices that were made by so many. We have Veterans Day coming up in about 6 months, and that's another opportunity to remember everyone who sacrificed, large and small, to further the cause of freedom in our nation and in our world. Now we have a day-to-day reminder of the sacrifices that so many have made in our communities in service of our country. And that will be that sign, but more importantly, I think, will be Supervisor Bosworth, the town board, myself, Charlie Berman, all our elected officials will be in a position to help remind people going forward regularly, not just on holidays, but every day, of the sacrifices that all of you have made. I want to thank so much the Order of Purple Heart, all the recipients of the Purple Heart, and all the veterans who are here today to help us to start this process of reminding everyone in our communities how special you all are, how important you all are, and what you mean to us each and every day. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Wayne. And now I'd like to ask our Receiver of Taxes, Charles Berman, to say a few words.
Thank you, Supervisor, and thank you for this wonderful initiative, and thank you to the town board for making this possible. It's so deserving. As we approach the 70th anniversary of D-Day, I'm thinking of my wife's father, who landed on D-Day +4, and he was in the whole thing. He was in North Africa, he was in Italy, he landed on Omaha Beach on D-Day +4, and he stayed in Germany and actually ran a POW camp after the war. He used to actually yell at the Germans in Yiddish, so believe me, they were really scared. But you know, I think of him. He passed away at the age of 60. I mean, he certainly got many medals in his day, but he didn't get, you know, the acclaim of his local municipality, his county, his state, and the country that he deserved. And I'm so happy that we're continuing to do this, and that we're doing, you know, we're acknowledging what all of you have done in all the wars that you fought in. And it's so important that you do get this acknowledgement and recognition, because we need to make sure that we teach our future generations that this actually happened, and what you did, and what your sacrifices were, and what your comrades who are no longer here, what their sacrifices were. You know, my grandfather came to this country in 1906. He was born in England, and by 1917 he was fighting in France for the United States Army, and he also won some medals. And when he died, he left me one of these medals, and that's what I have of him. And I asked him once, why did you end up in our army? I mean, why didn't you fight for England? You were born there. And he said, the day I came to this country, I became an American. I love this country. I've always loved this country, and it was my honor and my duty to serve. And so I have that legacy, I have his medal, but it's very important that we pass this on to our future generations. So thank you for all that you've done for us. God bless you and God bless America.
Thank you, Charlie. And now I'd like to ask Councilwoman Anna Kaplan to come and say a few words.
I'd like to say that it's an honor to be a Purple Town. We thank you very much for your many years of service and all those who still serve us. God bless you and God bless America.
Thank you, Anna. And now Councilwoman Lee Seeman.
It really is such an honor. It is such an honor for me just to be standing here and looking at you. I lived through World War II, from beginning till end. And I think of it, it's in my heart all the time. My husband was there in Europe and in North Africa. And I want to thank you all for being so courageous. God bless you, and may you have good health through all the years.
Thank you, Lee. And now, Councilman Zuckerman.
Good afternoon. It's my pleasure to be here today to help this be a Purple Heart town. The men and women who serve this country that have been willing to put their lives on the line to make the ultimate sacrifice. It's an unbelievable moment, and it's our pleasure here at the town to do that. As I stand here with the men and women who have served this country and have so faithfully put their lives on hold to make this country what it is today, I can only thank God for these men and women. And it's my pleasure to be here today to honor them. And God bless everyone here, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Okay, and last but certainly not least, our Councilwoman Dina Giorgio.
Thank you. It's really a privilege to be here. All I can really say that hasn't been said is thank you so much for your service. I want to remind everyone that August 7th is Purple Heart Day. I was asked to make that announcement, and I also want to recognize someone from my town who served in the Korean War, Stan Nadell. Mr. Nadell is also a Purple Heart recipient. He is right now recuperating in St. Francis Hospital and is very disappointed that he couldn't join us today. So we send our best wishes to Mr. Nadell for a speedy recovery, and we thank him and all of you for your service and all the men and women that have served our country and continue to serve our country. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.
So this is now the moment we've been waiting for. Along with our town representatives, I'll be presenting this proclamation to Bob, to Erle, to Connie, and to Tony from the Purple Heart town. If I could have the proclamation. Military Order of the Purple Heart organization, if you could come up again. And Mike too, of course. Amanda, there you go. So we'd like to all present this. And what we're going to do now is we're going to unveil the Purple Heart Town sign right here at Mary Jane Davies Green in just a moment. But the second announcement that we're going to make for our special Veterans Day today is the formation of a Veterans Advisory Committee that will serve as another voice for our veterans as we work together to better serve them.